Tailwind CSS is providing to us many classes to change the style of our fonts or typography. On the official documentation, we can see that we have several elements that can help us to change the font or text inside our application. Of course, the team core of Tailwind thought about everything concerning typography. In my Next.js application, I have different type of tag elements there. I have an H1 for the first title, I have an H2, an H3, and then I have several paragraphs. And the first thing that we can notice is that Tailwind CSS doesn't apply the regular styling of the title with the tags H1, H2, H3. Those titles were supposed to be in bold and with a higher font size. And here with Tailwind, it's totally reset. So basically what we would need to do is to change at first the size. And how can we change the size with Tailwind? By using text minus or dash and the size we want to have. So let's try. Let's apply those classes and let's see what's going to happen. So I'm going to take the first class, TextXS, that gives a font size of 0.75 rem, so 12 pixels. I'm going to take it, I'm going to get back there, and down there we see that I've already created a class called not, okay? We will see that later. But I'm going to add TextXS, okay? And my code editor in IntelliSense already changed the order of the class. So now I add TextXS on this little note. Back into my application, when I update, we see that the size of the last paragraph changed. And it changed for a smaller size. So when I inspect and I go there, we see that the font size is now 0.75 rm. So Tailwind is providing to us many different font sizes class that we can use. And let's go gradiently. So here I'm going to get back, add my class name there, which is text small, which is supposed to be bigger than the text XS. I'm going to update, and there we go. And for the regular font size of Tailwind, we add text base there. So I'm going to take text base there, this way, there we go. And there we go. So we've got now the regular paragraph that stays on the same size. The first three titles still stay at a certain font size, so here we can 1 rem, but if I go there, we see that, let's go on computed, that the font size is still 16 pixels. So what I can do is to use text LG, but basically, by experience, on Tailwind, to use the size of some titles, we will use text XL. So I'm going to get a bigger size, and on the text 3 there, I will add my text XL there. And we see that the title is bigger. And when I go here, I look at it, I'm on 20 pixels. On top of XL, we can add a number, okay? There is no text XXL. With Tailwind, you will have to add a number on front of the XL there. And it goes to 9. So let's take the latest and see what is the size of 9XL, and we will see it will be big, and let's say that here it's going to be text 2XL. So we've got 3 titles here, and those titles having different sizes. So 9XLs, and there's a gap between the 2 and the 9 there. So I'm going to get back, update, and suddenly we have this big title there. So you understand that there's a limit, and actually I'm going to get back on 100%. We understand that there's a bigger limit that has been crossed between the first title and the second title there, all right? So basically, you would not have this kind of gap in terms of design because it's too much. What you need to do is trying to stay in the same range of the sizes, okay? And there we go, when we update, there we go, that's we have. So for the font sizes, it's very interesting, okay? We see here that we can change the font size as we want. And of course, we can customize our font sizes. So let's try to configure to customize our font size. So I gotta go on theme and I'm gonna add font size. So back in my tailwind.config.js, I'm going to type font size and open an object. And what do I have? I have a text base, which is there. And right now, the text base is 1 rem. 1 rem, it corresponds to 16 pixels. So let's say that I don't want to have 16 pixels, but instead 18 pixels. Okay, so I'm saving this stem to base 18 pixels. Here I got a text base, which is there. I'm going to unzoom a little bit. And right now it's supposed to be 16 pixels. Okay, I'm going to put it at 18 pixels. All right, so I'm going to save this. I'm going to zoom again. There we go. And updating. And what's happening there? My title lost their sizes and just my paragraph there has been updated. So as you see, if you try to change the font sizes by default in the theme there, you will remove the other sizes. So you will have to manually change every size you are using. So let's take, for instance, text. We've got SM, okay, so SM is there, and I'm going to say that SM would be 15 pixels and XS would be 12 pixels. Okay, there we go. I'm going to get back, and we see that it changed, all right? And we can do the same for the values on the top also. So if you don't want to overwrite those font sizes, what you can do is taking them and put them into your extend. Extend will keep, of course, the initial configuration, and we just want to write on top of Tailwind. So when I update, you see here that what only changed, it's the value I used. So here we got 18 pixels there instead of 16. All right, that's great. But what about the font family? If I want to use certain font family, Tailwind CSS is offering to us the option to customize our fonts, okay? But also, Tailwind CSS provides to us basic font classes that if you are on different devices, you want to keep your font secure. But what if I want to import my own font? And let's go on Google Fonts. And let's say that I want to import a special font. So here I got a font selected, Enter. If you want to look for a font, of course, you can go click here and take any font and add it to your review there. What if I want to import this font, Enter? I can go here, so I'm going to put that there. I'm going to click here and import my fonts, okay? I'm going to copy paste this, get back, and go to my global.css. Is always to import always your font there on the top. Then what I'm going to do, getting back there, I'm going to copy paste the CSS rule to specify the font family that I want to use. And remember there, we still have our layer base, which is used to act on layers that we use inside Tailwind. And on my HTML, what I can do is simply apply my font Enter. And when I get back and I update, and I'm going to look at it, okay, what's gonna happen? Here I got Enter as a font. So this is how you use custom font with Tailwind CSS. If you want to have smoothing on fonts, you can use also the class anti-initialize and sub-pixel anti-initialize. It gives something, you see, maybe we have to zoom to see the difference. We see that our fonts are a bit thicker or thinner. It depends on the class you are using. About font styling, it's exactly the same. You have classes for italic, not italic, okay? You have also text decoration there with underline, overline. So if I go here and I get back on my first title, let's say that I want it to be italic, I can type italic. And when I update, there we go, we've got the title in italic. If I want it underline, I can type underline and suddenly I got an underline. I can have a line through also. which is useful when you create some kind of to-do list that when you click, it's passed on the status done, so you can put a line through like this. Otherwise, you can have also an overline. So as you see down there, we got an example, but we can just put it in there. We've got an overline there. I don't know why we would use that, but it can be useful also. And which is really cool with that text decoration, it's that with Tailwind CSS, you can act on the color, the thickness, the style of this underline. So if we go there, we see that we've got some examples. You can change the color of the underline, and that's really cool. So here I'm going to change the color just to show it to you. Let's say that we want our underline to be red. So I'm going to get back there and put underline and text decoration red 800. Okay, I got red 800. So 800 is maybe too much. What I'm going to put is 500, and there we go. We're going to have, yeah, it's better. And this is how you can change the color. This is really cool, but you can also change the style, and I find it really, really funny. If you want to have a double decoration, you can use decoration double. So here I'm going to get back, decoration double, I update, and suddenly I got 2 lines. I can use dotted also, so dotted, it will put dots instead of a regular line. And the one that I like a lot, it's wave. Wave, I found it really, really nice. So yeah, decoration, wavy, sorry. I put wave, but it's wavy. There we go. I'm going to update. We've got a wavy decoration. And by the time, if you wanted to do some kind of wave like this, most of the people would use the pseudo element after and put some kind of image. With Tailwind CSS, it's really easy. You just have to put those classes. What you can do also is work on the decoration thickness. So if you want to have a very pronounced underline, I'm going to take decoration 8. I'm going to get back there and put decoration 8. Look at that, I get something really big. And the problem is that it takes a lot of size, and that's not what we want. So we can work also on the offset. And I think I'm going to get back there and just put a decoration one because it's too much. There we go. And let's say that I want to put an offset. So I have to use underline offset 8. And what's going to happen is that it's going to create space between the line of my text and the top of the underline. So as you see here, I use a very big value, but if I can use underline offset 4, I got something that look nicer. And just let's take that and put it in instead on a description. I think it's better. So here we got a regular paragraph, and I'm going to put it there because most of the time those underlines, we will use them inside paragraph. There we go. We see that here the G is almost touching the underline, and that's not what we want. So we can augment the offset. So when I update, we don't have 5, I think. Yes, 8. There we go. So I have to put an 8 instead of a 4. Yeah, we got something really bigger. And the thing is that here, what we would like to have is a higher underline. Okay, a higher underline. So what I need to do is to go actually on the line 8. And with Tailwind CSS, we can deal with line 8. So as you see here, we got a leading class with a number 3, 4, 5 that make our line 8 bigger. And at the end, you got also classes, regular classes that shows that you can use several sizes that are what we call regular sizes of line 8. Those regular sizes, they are based on the number 1, 1.2, 1.3, okay? And it's a regular element to size actually the 8. Here, the leading 3, 4, 5, 6, they are based on rem or pixels. So I don't think it's really useful. It's preferably for me to use those leading there. So I'm going to use leading normal on my paragraph. Okay, I'm going to get back there, leading normal, updating. And here we see it doesn't change because basically the line 8 that I already have there, I'm going to go on the style and I'm going to show it to you this way. I'm going to go there. The line 8 that I have already is not very accessible, okay? So where is it? Leading normal, we got it in here. Let's just check together which is the line 8 we would have to get. So I got a line 8 there, and if I put 1, we see that my line is on the top of the next paragraph, and we don't want that. If we put 2, it's better, but suddenly I understand that my offset is too big. I have to get back on my offset, so I'm going to put 4. And maybe, yeah, it's better. So suddenly we see that we got space to breathe between that, and that's better. And what is the leading loose? Leading loose is the line 8 2, okay? So I'm going to update and put my leading loose there. I'm going to save, get back, and there we go. I got something bigger. The problem is that later on a real paragraph, it will put a lot of 8. So the best thing is always to stay on normal or preferably on snug. Instead of having a there, I'm going to put a with lowercase and get back. And here we see that my a is lowercase. The basic reflex that you could have is to use capitalize. It's to capitalize all your text. And that's a problem because it will capitalize not only the first letter here, but the first letter of every word of the sentence. So if I get here and I put my capitalized class there and I update, we see that R of regular and P of paragraph have been capitalized. That could be a problem. So if you want to capitalize a whole text, you can do it. Otherwise, you would have to create some kind of middleware for the string to a function that will take the string and just capitalize the first letter with a span. Otherwise, the other thing is that if you want to lowercase, what you can do is using lowercase. So I'm going to remove all of this because you will not read very well. If I put lowercase, what's going to happen is that even if I put a bigger A, I will have a lowercase on every char character of the sentence. And the last one that I like a lot, because normal case is just the normal case, is the uppercase. Let's say that you want to have all the sentence on uppercase. There we go, it puts all the sentence on uppercase. Let's talk about the text overflow now. Sometimes we want to shorten, okay, the text we have, and we often create functions to do it with a substring. Basically here we can use truncate. So I don't have a very good example there, but I'm going to just put a paragraph with a long sentence. So this is a long sentence with a lot of words to explain that truncate will truncate my sentence. All right, I could have put a lorem ipsum, but I think it's better to do. What we see is that my text is going to the line automatically there. And if I put the class truncate, okay, class name truncate, all right, what's going to happen is that basically on the end of my HTML element, it will not go to the line. It will not wrap. That's what we call wrap. What's going to happen there is that truncate, it's going to create a white space with no wrap, which means that we don't want our sentence to break and the overflow will be hidden, okay? So here it's not very nice, but let's say that we would have a div with a style width of 200 pixels, and I'm going to put that between yes, as a string, and there we go. We got here the truncate that works at the end of our div. And if I go here and I look at it, before the end of my div of 200 pixels, it's substring, yes, my sentence and just cut it to do truncate. Okay for truncate, but ellipsis here happens when you have a big text and a big word and you want your big word to be truncate. You can use the class text ellipsis. For the clip, it's different. It will not wrap your word, your long word, but it will just cut it. Just take it on overflow hidden when you add overflow hidden to text clip. Text overflow help us to deal with words. White space help us to deal with words, spaces, and if you want to wrap or not your lines. Basically, white space normal makes that it will have a normal behavior. No wrap will help us to not wrap our text. So here we've got an example. We got a long sentence and it doesn't wrap. So I'm going to get back there and remove this style here that I got and remove also this thing. So I'm going to type class name and then I'm going to use white space wrap. Okay, the class that we have. Sorry, white space no wrap. So I got my text, which is there. I'm going to use white space no wrap and I'm going to update. And we see that my text doesn't wrap. And I can have an overflow here to scroll from the left to the right. Okay, it doesn't wrap. So it goes out of your screen or your limits, depending on what spaces and what limits you define. But yeah, white space no wrap is used for that. Also, what you got is to use white space pre. It's to preserve new line and spaces within an element. So sometimes you have spaces or lines that you want to keep. You use white space pre. And also what you can do, you can use white space pre-line, which means that you will get, every time you get a space, a line there. You get pre-wrap, you got a lot of other options that you can use there. Yeah, basically white space pre-wrap and no wrap are the most used. Let's finish by the word break. In Tailwindcss, you can deal with word breaking with those 4 classes there. So let's say that you have a very long word and you don't want to break it. You can use break normal, it won't break your word. So let's try to use this example that we got there. So I'm going to remove that. And there we go. Let's put a very long word just there. And let's take the word of the word used by the Tailwindcss documentation. So we got it here, and basically what's happening is that my word is going to the line and disappear there, okay? So if we want that, we just let it like this or use break normal. But if we want to break the words, if they are too big, we can use break words. So I'm going to add this class there, break words. And when I update, automatically my big words went to the line because I really zoomed. But if I move my screen this way, and I arrive to the word, and here the word have no other escape from the size, look, it will go to the line directly. So to do that, you use the break word class, okay? Otherwise, if you want to break all the words, you can use break all that we got there. So I'm going to get back and use break all. And break all will just fit to the content. So there, we see that the big word that we got stayed on the first line and automatically broke. So I go there and look at this, and it's going to move line by line because I have the break all class. I am almost sure that those classes provided by Tailwind to act on typography and change our design are the most used. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe, leave a comment, and see you next time.